Good morning. My name is Galen Wickstrom from Genie Industries. Thanks, Guy, and to all the vendors who made this possible. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our GS-1930. It's our candidate in this rodeo. 19 obviously goes through the height in feet. 30 is our nomenclature, just opposite of our friendly competitor Skyjack. It's 19 inches wide. So it's a 1930. All Genie electric scissor lifts conform to that standard. So 26 would be 26 feet, 46 would be the width in US inches. It's a what we call a mini machine designed to go into a construction elevator. I'll start kind of walk around the chassis, work my way up through the link stack, and then finish with the platform and the platform controls. Gray 12-inch non-marking tires on a single stud, so that there's only one, there's not a series of lug nuts, there's only one castle nut to hold on the wheels with a cotter pin, 24-bolt battery tray with Trojan T105s and a solid state, what we call a world charger. It will adapt to different voltages, different pulses, just merely change out the pigtail. It's also a smart charger, so it'll start a fully dead battery pack, and it will automatically turn off and go to, obviously, wind down to a trickle charge as the battery levels come up. It's on a swing out tray with heavy duty hinges for durability and an automotive style latch to prevent it from inadvertently coming open. The pigtail can come out the side, or there's a kit to mount it in the back depending on preference. There's also a flush mount kit for it as well, so that it can have kind of a female receptacle. Steering is in double shear for those who are more engineering inclined, meaning the steering is mounted between two posts, so that those can float and give you good durability on your steering componentry. It does steer at near 90 degrees for a zero inside turning radius. It is front wheel drive, hydraulically driven, and it is braked with two methods. Hydraulic line manifold braking, which is a closed center valve, open center valve. So it gets hydrodynamic braking through the hydraulic system. And then what Genie does in back is we put a wet multi-disc hydraulic brake. The advantages of this brake are that as hydraulic pressure drops, the brakes automatically come on. And that gives two things. One, it's very durable. The second thing is that you can never overrun the machine, because if you were going down a hill or a slope, as the hydraulic pressure dropped out of the drive system, these brakes would always automatically come on and prevent you from overdriving on the machine. And they're million cycle brakes, so they're very durable, similar to the brakes on big booms and whatnot. Working around the machine, our ladder is also our tie down for truck drivers for ease of transport. Now, what we found is that many times the ladder will get used as a tie down point, whether it is or it is not. So our ladder is. Also in the back is also our power to the platform wiring for getting juice up to the platform, as well as our auxiliary down and our brake release mechanism. Genie's brake release mechanism is kind of a swift little deal. You pump it up, and that allows you to push the machine. The minute a hydraulic function is hit, when the machine's on, it automatically resets itself. So should a truck driver need to winch this product and release the brakes, the minute the hydraulics come on, it will automatically reset. There's no need to go back to the valve and reset the valve manually. So a nice little safety feature. On this side of the machine, we obviously have our hydraulic components, a high horsepower motor coupled to a pump, and of course our hydraulic tank, return filter, and Genie's ECM and motor controller. Our system relies on a motor controller to get its proportional drive. In other words, we only ask the hydraulic motor, electric pump combination to do that work which we're asking it to do via the controls. In other words, if you want to go slow, the motor turns slowly. Versus a different style of hydraulics, which would be motor always spins and you're sending oil back to tank through a proportional manifold. So that way we're getting good energy efficiency by only asking from the power unit what we are commanding it to do from the platform. So there's no waste, in other words. A little hard for you folks to see, but as it raises, we have a mechanical pothole guard. That's hinged to the frame rather than the door. And we've gone to, I'd say, we have dwelled on the relative clearance with it deployed so that it'll drive over drywall and potentially a 240 volt extension cord in the elevated position with the pothole guards deployed. But still obviously past the safety standards. Working up to the link stack, there's holes in the link stack. That's always the first question anybody asks. Those holes are to let in a positive static charge for our paint. You'll notice that we don't have caps on our tubes. Our tubes are painted inside. And the holes allow us a certain electrostatic coating technique to get the inside of the tubes painted. The reason we like to do that is obviously we don't want the inside of the tubes to rust. Our link stack is characterized by tubular steel on square tube steel rather, and bosses with a Teflon impregnated bushing and oversized pins. That gives us a nice stiff, durable ride. All Genie scissors are tested to 100,000 cycles with full rated load capacity. So that approximates, in our mind, about a 20-year type usage cycle. And of course, completely grease-free. So there's no maintenance on the scissor stack. We use a standard hydraulic ram, double-acting ram, although we don't pump down. It's gravity down and proportional ascent up. So the further you push the joystick, the faster it will raise. Down is obviously just one speed. Moving on to the platform, 500 pound, excuse me, 2-person capacity with a 2-position slide deck, medium and full out. That's accomplished with your foot and then just pushing the rails. So no pins, no telescopic tubes to, if one gets dented, it doesn't necessarily mean the other one's dented. A little bit of compromise with inside room in that respect. But again, guardrail damage in the rental business is something that we all have to contend with. Non-stick coating, and then this has the optional swing-in self-closing. We have a 2-position back rail so we can get drywall or plywood. We can raise this up so that it'll accommodate a 4-foot section of drywall and come in there lengthwise. Lastly, talk a little bit about the controlling system. This is our controller, standard e-stop, enabling trigger, steering buttons, and with deference to mech, just exactly the opposite of mech. Push it forward to go up, pull it back to go down. Again, that's proportional, that's a fixed speed. And then of course, a drive mode that's indicated with a lit light. So again, push it forward to go forward, and it's proportional, backwards to go backwards, and obviously the steer functions. As well, we have on our 19s, we have a little turtle button, and that little turtle button automatically in the stowed position kicks it down into a creep speed mode where you still have all the proportionality but a much lower top speed threshold. So if you're in or around expensive machinery or sensitive furniture, for example, whatever, you can kick it down and it'll limit that top speed so you don't get going too fast and accidentally bash something. As well, there's also a little lit LED window that is also mirrored down here on the chassis. The significance of that is that we're using a self-diagnostic system in our electronic control system, and should there be a fault, whether it's a short or one of the pothole guards might not deploy properly. Anything like that's going to give you a code, a numerical code. When that numerical code happens, that function potentially would not work. It would disable that function for safety. And if it's just a momentary thing, that would clear it, or it's going to tell the mechanic where to go, steer left, steer right, up, down function. It's going to tell him where to look for a short, or maybe where to look for a faulty solenoid actuating device. And so it's going to have a beneficial effect for the service fellow. The customer can say, I'm getting a code 46, and he's going to be able to take the right parts and or the right wire or solenoid out to the job site, potentially affect a quicker repair. So obviously also you can position it anywhere on the product, and it's got provisions for a padlock. Also, another couple of things, it does have a quick disconnect, so it can be taken away. And one unique thing that Genie does is it can be disconnected down below as well, and you can actually plug the control box in down below and operate the whole machine from the chassis level. That takes the wire out of the equation that runs up the link stack. So if you thought you just had a fault in the wiring up the link stack, you could quickly troubleshoot that by plugging it in at the base and seeing if everything operated normally. And if it did, then your problem obviously is in the connecting wire to the platform. And that's kind of a nice, unique function. I guess lastly in the platform, the only thing left is, I pointed out the pigtail. We do have a 110 GFI receptacle in the platform for plugging in hand tools, as long as it's plugged in down below. We also will do power inverters, things like double E ratings for spark resistance in the aircraft industry or petrochem industries. I guess that's pretty much our 19-footer in a quick overview. Questions?
I mean, I've asked everybody the same question. Is there a philosophy with regards to the smooth non-marking tire and the ripped non-marking tire? Do you know why there's a selection there? It's different.
I think Guy, and I can't speak for any of the others. I mean, you do a whole bunch of stability testing. You're obviously trying to maximize the traction that you can get. You know, deflection comes into it, wear characteristics. So, you know, I think, you know, if I look out, I see various widths. I see some people are ribbed, some people are crossed. We have actually settled on this because it gave us a little bit of traction in wet surfaces that we felt we couldn't get with a ribbed tire. The turn side was, you do get a little bit of vibration when you drive it because you feel those treads going round and round. So I'd say maybe, you know, you're looking at deflection, smoothness, traction, wear characteristics, and, you know, our engineers have arrived at what they think here is an optimum balance of those things. So I'm sure our competitors think they have to as well.
Standard. So this is an option.
Yeah,
Standard
the standard for U.S. is chain. Everywhere else in the world is some form of gate. Right.
Are there any options on this machine, or is this a standard machine?
Other than the gates, it's completely standard.
And what other options are available on this product?
Well, inverter, double E, gates, help me out, Brett.
Lights.
Flashing beacons, so warning package, strobe lights. Airline to platform. There is a pipe cradle on various models that can be had, tool trays, etc., etc. So there's quite a little list of accessories. And Brett has a sheet that we can provide that has strobe and negative.
All right, great. Did you talk about the pins?
Yes.
You did, okay.
Well, and I might say, if there's a question about the pins, some people use a chrome. Some people you can't tell, and ours are black. That's a nitriting, a sulfur nitriting process. It basically is a turned, machined, hardened pin that's then baked in a salt solution, and that increases the hardness and also changes the outer surface to a non-ferrous, non-rusting, similar effect to chrome, just a different look, but without a plating per se. It's a chemical change.
Location of your harness points.
Location of harness points are 2 here and 1 down on the deck.
And do you require
No.
to do a harness system?
No, we do not. Neither does ANSI in the US. But job site rules require them, and they're engineered points. So. Other questions?
Can this be forked from the side?
Yes, fork from the side or from the end.
Damage.
Yes. Always, we were always historically forked from the side, and and then we've re-engineered for the wide ones in the rear.
Right.
So that's what we didn't have previously. We've always recommended it from the side, but some people like this, obviously do it from the end. Now there's regulational wide pockets.
Even though they're wider than, you lose what, a couple of inches here to the
Yeah.
deck. And explain to me, I completely lost how you do the emergency brakes again.
Okay, the emergency brakes, the emergency brake release is push that in, and then just pump this up, pump that till it becomes difficult. At that point, the machine will roll. Then you could either come back and pull this, and that would reset the valve, or hitting any hydraulic function once the machine is powered up will reset the valve automatically. That's going to release these hydraulic brakes here.
And how high do you have to raise this in order to use the safety service product? You know how high that's got?
Not exactly off the top of my
That's a
head.
trick question.
Toby, do you
I'm
know
just curious.
what the lift height is before you can deploy the safety chop?
Honestly, you have to run it all the way up?
No, not all.
You
No,
run it
not
up,
all
it's
the way.
once you're about, I think it's about 10 feet, the safety arm will come down.
We can do it.
Well, it raise it up a little bit. I think you shot it up. I got it.
I can lower it down, right.
That's okay. What is this for?
It's just a pad. So
Oh, it's okay.
it's just a protective pad. One last thing, the electronic controls are also giving us some sort of inexpensive side features, if you will, and one of them being this automatic descent alarm, using the same noisemaker for the horn and the tilt sensor. So they're just different frequencies, down and beep, beep, beep. then the horn is at will, and the tilt alarm would be a different amount of beats per second, if you will. All the same noisemaker, so it does allow some nice commonality.
Any other questions for Mr. Woodstrom?
Paint or powder coat? Depending on what we make this machine, 2 different plants. So one plant would be powder coat, the other plant would be dip. Electrostatic dip. 2 parts.
And the scissor bushings, are they a PU bushing or are they a?
Teflon impregnated fiberglass, which Genie started using in 1984 on our Z-3020.
So back to this particular machine's built in 2 different plants.
Currently, yeah.
In the States or?
Here in the States, and then, yeah.
Ones that, are they both in Redmond?
Yeah, Building 6 and Moose Ridge.
Oh. Any questions? Okay, great, thanks.